What's going on, everyone? So, this offseason will be kind of the beginning of the offseason in which the Lakers culture will start to set itself, right? So, JJ Redick spoke and talked about how he really wants to have a regime made out that all these players that are on this team, they all have their, regimes, and they all have their, their off-season routines and all that stuff. And he even said, I don't want to ruin their routines. I don't want to take away from their routines. But what we want to do is we want to build a culture and set the standard, right? It's something you heard the Lakers talk very heavily about last season, right? Last offseason, the Lakers wanted to get JJ Redick and really establish a development, health, and culture place, a place where, each coach is assigned, like JJ even explained it, right? He did a whole interview breaking this down, that each coach has their own pod, is what he referred to it as, that they have this pod of 4 players, whatever, 5 players, and that their job is to just focus on them and work on them and build them to the best of your ability. And then so on and so forth. So that way it's not like one guy's got to be responsible for all 15, right? No, it's just hey, you're responsible for this group of people. Hey, you coach, you're responsible for this group, you're responsible for this group, and you're responsible for this group, right? And have these regimes, put together and built out and really kind of help these players. And even the medical department, right? Lakers, I talked about this very heavily because this is something that is great, right? The Lakers revamped their entire medical team, their entire medical staff, right? Got rid of everybody, cleaned house, and got all the top of the top. I mean, their head, Dr. Sims, is literally, he was Team USA basketball's, doctor. And then before that, he was, I believe, the track and field for the Olympics, right? So he's a guy that's very familiar. And if you look at this past season, knock on wood, guys weren't really hurt. Guys weren't really injured, right? Not anything significant, again, knock on wood, right? All Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, guys like that was the previous year in the previous regime. They came back and were fine. Last time they both came back, they got hurt again, right? So again, doctors got it right. Now, again, guys miss a week here and there or games here and there. It's part of just an 82 game season. Not all 15 guys are going to play all 82 games, right? So, those days are long gone. So, but it's about having a doctor team and again, setting and establishing that culture, being a place. Think of Heat culture or Spurs culture or some of these organizations that are just known for their organizational structure, right? Well, the Lakers want to be that. Why that hasn't been a thing forever? Your guess is as good as mine. Being the Lakers, you should have the best doctors, the best trainers, the best organization, bar none, right? You should be the place where players go, man, I could go here and sign a new contract here, or I could go to Lakers and get developed for the next 2 or 3 years and then get a real contract, a Malik Monk type thing. Lakers have had that a couple times, but it's guys that were essentially already established that just wanted to prove themselves, right? The Lakers should be a premier destination, should be a premier place. And especially with the new CBA, you need that. You need an essential farm system where you're basically growing and developing back end guys into that next wave, right? So because of the new CBA, it makes it hard to really kind of flush out a deep, talented team. But if you have 4 or 5 guys on the back end that you're growing and developing and housing and really kind of blossoming them into that next wave, then every 2-3 years or whatever, you have that kind of influx that the college route, right? Get a bunch of guys coming in, a bunch of guys going out, right? And that is something. So for example, right, guys like Bronny James, Christian Coloco, right? Even Trey James, these guys, right? At the end of the bench. These are all guys that, and I'm sure the Lakers will get more, but undrafted guys, all that stuff. But these are guys that you can spend, growing, develop, work on for the next 2-3 years. And then as guys start to depart, now Bronny's ready to slot in alongside Luka, and he is that guy. All right, he is the guy that's ready to go 3-and-D style guard, right? And be a starting level or a rotation guy, right? Be that point of attack, be that, the Jalen Suggs type or whatever, right? Like that is what the Lakers are looking to try to be that organization that is, creating this cycle of players and, just being that premier organization that players want to go to. Like, hey, if I go to the Lakers, I'm going to be more set for my career than anywhere else, right? So now undrafted guys and talent and guys, you get a lot more Austin Reeves, where they're like, I can go to the Lakers, get the exposure, get the best development, the best doctors, the best everything. Like, why wouldn't I want to go to the Lakers, right? Like, so you start getting a lot more players that go kind of the Austin Reeves route, where they would have been drafted, but instead they go like, nah, I'll just rather sign with the Lakers, right? Instead of being the 50th pick in the draft, I can just go undrafted, sign with the Lakers, and then work my way up, improve myself, right? Like those are the kind of things that the Lakers want to start to grow and develop. And you heard JJ Redick talk about that very heavily, during the exit interviews and everything, right? That, he wants to get guys championship conditioned, right? He wants to get guys championship ready, right? Because there is a certain level of conditioning and commitment and whatnot. He didn't mention any names. A lot of people were like, who's talking about Luka? I don't think he was just talking about Luka. I think he's talking about several guys, but no, I'm sure Luka was in that thought process when he was talking about that. But, having the coaching staff that we have, having the trainers and the medical staff and all that stuff that we have, I think all of that is going to go a very long way for this offseason next. Right? This will be the first year really that we're really going to get to see that. Primarily because, last year they spent a good majority really kind of flushing that out. Right? Now, the only thing I kind of concern myself with is how many of these guys are still on the roster once the season begins, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you get an entire roster recycle, right? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that's what ends up happening. But we'll see who's on the roster. We'll see how this all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.